Hi, my name is Tiffany. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. If you are newly subscribed, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate all of you guys for the support. It means a lot to me. Today's video, let's go back. So I started an internship, as some of you all knew. That internship then let's start out by saying this. It was a part-time internship, and then it turned into a full-time internship. And that full-time internship was with their sister company that is owned by the same CEO that owned the other company that I was working for in the beginning. Hopefully that makes sense. So I was a full-time intern there, and then that later turned into a job offer. And I wasn't excited about the job offer. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I was very apprehensive about it. A large part of why I didn't want to take it had to do with just the environment and the other developer I was working with, and his teaching style and the way that he was articulating his thoughts weren't really lining up to what I needed at the time. So I was like, I don't know if this is going to work long term. And when I first started the full-time internship, believe you me, I was looking at all the variables. I was like, okay, let's just see where it goes. Let's see what happens. So I did that, and then I ultimately accepted the offer. At the time, there wasn't really anything else going on, but I will say this: I was applying to jobs like probably 2 or 3 weeks before I got the offer. I didn't know that the offer was coming in at that time that it came in. So when I was finding jobs to apply for, I was just on the whim. I was like, I'm hoping this stuff comes through very quickly. So if I do get an offer here, I could have also other different offers possibly to entertain at the same time. Just so I could have a variety of different working styles and teaching styles of different company, the products they're working on and stuff like that. I wanted a wide variety of that. So I decided to start applying for positions. And in that process, I applied not to many. This was a strategic job search. It was not one where I was in desperate need of a job. It was very different. A lot of the past times I looked for a job, it was like, I need a job. And at this point, it was just like, I'm looking for something. And I was looking at the team, I was looking at the product, I was looking at the company, and those are things that you always look at, but I was really focused on those things. I wasn't concerned about the tech stack. And I went back and I looked at other positions I'd applied to in the past and was like, if these positions are available on their websites, I'm going to apply to those again. Some of them I did, some of them I didn't. But in all cases, I'll say that this time, I can't remember I can't remember the exact amount. And I did get rejected for 2 or 3 of those jobs. I didn't get a phone interview or nothing. They were like, no. So, and that's okay. So I got rejected for 2 or 3 of them. Not right off the bat either. It took them a few weeks. And they finally came back around and was like, no. And I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. That's better than nothing. And so there was, I want to say, 3 good ones. And one of them I didn't hear from at all. And I think about it, just popped in my head. There was about 3 good ones that I was like, okay, these are the companies. I've researched their companies. They look like they're doing good things. They're involved in the community and they're doing all that good stuff. And they are doing something that I could be on board with. Because ultimately, the next job I have is I don't want to stay there for 3 months and then just be done. Like, I want to be on board. Like, I'm on board. Like, I'm with y'all. We doing this coding thing. Ow, my hand hurts. Because of that, I wanted to make sure I was choosing the right company and the right people to work with. And I can't stress that enough. I'll probably keep repeating that over and over and over again because it's so important. Anyways, so with that being said, I put out my applications, was waiting to hear back. One of them, actually, now I think about it, there was 4 people I never heard. 2 people I didn't hear back from. Come on, y'all. I found out from somebody in a Slack group, messaged that person. They said, go ahead and apply. I went ahead and applied. Followed up with that person a couple weeks later. Nothing happened. So I was like, this was not somebody I knew personally. It was just somebody in a Slack group. So I figured, why not try it? It didn't work out very well. It's a shame because what they were doing was really, I thought, profitable to like what I like to do. It's giving. I love giving back. The next 3, one of them I did not hear from, and I was very disappointed because and these were my top 3 companies. Like, these are the ones that I would like ditch where I'm at and I would go and work for them because they're closer, and then they had like the people there and the knowledge was there and the product was there and I was on board with it. And so, like I said, they never contacted me back, and I'm like, what's up with that? I reached out to, someone on LinkedIn and sent them an email and didn't hear nothing, and I was like, man, probably because my grammar's so bad, because didn't hear nothing is not the correct way to say that, so maybe they got word of my grammar. I don't know. The other company, I knew somebody that worked there. They were actually interning there. They had other open positions that they were trying to fill as well. So I went ahead and applied to them. I had a conversation with a person that was in their company and within their company. It was a really good conversation. I enjoyed the conversation, and I was beginning to get excited because I was like, this is cool. I like, they were more agency type. They were like maybe 30 minutes from my house or so. I could take the train if I wanted to work. I really don't like taking the train, but it was a sacrifice I was willing to take. It's better than driving an hour and a half to work. So I was like on board. And then the third company. So the third company was one that I applied to like a year and a half ago. And I talked to the recruiter at that time, and she was like, hey, we're looking for someone with more experience. And once we find that person, then we could start filling their team. And I was like, okay, that's fair. And I circled back around after I had more experience. I had worked last year as a web developer, and then this year I was doing stuff as a developer, software engineer. So I was like, I'm ready. Like, let's do this. So spoke to her, had a really good conversation with her, the recruiter, and I got on to the next round. Now, here I am sitting in a place where, it's like, oh, snap, I just accepted a job, and here I am looking at other options. However, those options were the fruits of the labor that were put in 2-3 weeks ago. So it wasn't something where I just applied and was just like, let me just apply right now today and then I hear back the next day. That's not how this works at all. There's always a waiting game. And so I took the risk of accepting the offer because it was a pretty solid company. I just wasn't excited about everything happening there. I knew that deep down inside, but I could not bring myself to just walk away because I was like, you just don't know about anything. The future, rather. Not, I know some stuff, don't get me wrong. It turns out I ended up having an in-person interview with one of those companies, and I was like, I'm gonna tell you just like this. I was honestly not in a rush to get to that interview. Like, I was working from home, and at my last job, like, that's what we did. We worked from home 3 days a week. So I was working from home. I clocked in early. and, I took my lunch to go to the interview. And, like, I'm going to be quite honest with you. I went into that interview like, whatever. I was just like, one of those things, like, real relaxed, real cool. I'm just chilling. Like, either you want to hire me or you don't want to hire me. Let's do this. And that was my mentality of it. And so that's probably the wrong mentality to have. Don't do what I did. But, like, I went in and I was like running like a minute late. Like, I never run late for interviews. I try not to run late for interviews. I walked out the interview. The manager walked me down the steps and out of the office, or out of the building. Well, not out of the building, but to the door of the building. And I told him, I was just like, dude, I don't think I did a good job here. And he assured me that I did a great job elsewhere and not to worry about the algorithms as much. And I was like, oh, well, that makes me feel better. So that was cool. I never had that much instant feedback before, so I was just like, this is good to know. And at that moment, I knew that I could possibly get an offer. Like, when he told me that and he assured me that I did well in other spaces during the interview, I was like, dude, I might get an offer. And then I was like, well, what do I do? Because I was planning on not getting an offer. I was just going to be like chilling, like, what? Like, not necessarily failing the interview, but I'm being straight up and honest, like, without no filter. I feel like you would be trying harder to get somebody to recognize your potential. And at that point, since I had a job already, like, I'm like, I don't need you to recognize my potential. It's not needed. Like, I got a job, like, for real. Just to have that conversation with him at the end solidified the fact that I was getting an offer to me. The next day, I indeed got an offer. Whoa. Here I am, sitting in a position where I have a position. I had not long signed the offer for that position. That makes sense. I had not long signed the offer for that position, and here I was receiving another offer, and I thought, what do I do? And when the terms of the offer came in, and I had researched the developers that were in the interview before the interview, and I just looked on their LinkedIn and was just kind of looking at their experience, and all of them had pretty solid experience. They all had a pretty good foundation, and I think the manager himself had maybe 5 or so years of experience. He had a lot of years of experience. He had worked at another company before. That what I loved the most is, like, all of them that I had seen their LinkedIns, for the most part, from what I can remember to this day, like, all of them had worked in a team setting, and that was important to me, because it meant that there wasn't going to be one person that was trying to do everything. It meant that it was going to be a wide array of things spread out, and they were going to be sharing work. So I think that when you had that foundation of, like, being a part of a team, it really solidifies a lot in your career, and it really solidifies how you work as a person. And so I was excited to see that. And on top of that, when I was in the interview room, no one made me feel like I was stupid because I didn't know something. And like, it was one of those situations where I'm just like, it's good. It's good. It's not, I don't feel like belittled because I don't know what you're talking about. It feels good. That's my story. So that's all I'm going to go over in this video. Like, I just really wanted to tell y'all kind of like where I'm at right now, and where I'm at, I didn't finish it, I guess. Where I'm at is I ultimately accepted the other offer, and I can go into detail about that in another video. But like I told you, what solidified it is that team environment and that mentality that they already had, and the fact that they were willing to welcome somebody else in. So I'm like, hey, let's do this. Let's make this happen. I just wanted y'all to know what's happening with me. A lot of y'all have been chiming in like, hey, you're going to find you another job. And I appreciate that. So thank you for that encouragement. That is awesome. I really appreciate it. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in another video. And yeah, like this if you thought it was entertaining. I don't know. And then make sure to subscribe if you aren't subscribed already. Leave a comment below with any questions that you may have, or if you just want to talk about your own experience with a kind of weird work thing. Yeah, let's talk. See you guys. Bye.